Greetings, greetings, dear art lovers, our lovely audience. Welcome back to our Art Encounters program. I am so happy and I'm delighted to introduce you to each other. The outstanding artist Sorin Bica and you, our amazing audience. So, I have to tell you in the very beginning that I'm lucky to know Sorin for many, many years now. And the story goes that more than 20 years ago, I came into his studio when they had open studio event. And right away, I was just enchanted, taken by his art and his charismatic persona. His art takes the whole of your mind and your soul and your heart and fills it with something very special and very magical that you are going to experience today. Um, and after that event, I enjoyed following the development of Sorin's art, and as a curator, I showed his art at the galleries that I worked for frequently and regularly for the benefit of our gallery goers, and yes, of course, for my own pleasure, because my own pleasure was really substantial. I never hesitate to admit it. So today, you're going you're going to experience some very interesting things. The immense creative energy of Sorin's art, the pure goodness of his artistic vision and intention, and the convincing power of such qualities in art making, of his art making, as good composition, clear outline, very powerful color, and many, many other outstanding things in art, in fine art, in art making, in perceiving art making. Of course, now Sorin Bica is a prominent and very successful painter and mural painter. He is a creator of three triple B, big, bold, bright images. Interesting here, by the way, that as a starter in the very beginning, Sorin started as a cartoonist. And now you're going to see what is created along the way to his prominence. And the story is going to be continued by Sorin Bica himself. Sorin, take it over.
Uh, well, hello, Olga and Nancy. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of Art Encounters. And obviously, the kind words would made me blush. But what can I say? My name is Sorin Bica. I'm an artist, primarily a painter in Boston area. I have a studio in Framingham where I work for the most part, and another one in Boston in South End, SoA, where I show on monthly basis. This is my part of my SoA studio. Um, what can I say? This is me. I like to paint large. As you can tell, this is one of my first murals that I was painting when I was an artist at Fountain Street in Framingham. I like color. I prefer to paint big because I can see better. I think I can express myself much easier on the larger scale. My ideas, my characters can run around and find their place easier. I will allow my mind to wander and dream. The story will, work on its own, and while I'm working, it happens many times that I'll wake up from something that I thought it was a dream, but just to realize that I was not asleep. I'm not a blogger, not a writer, but I use pen and color to keep track of my work. I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story so far. This is Bucharest, Romania. This is the place I was born. I was raised there. It was there that I learned first about art under the guidance of some of my family members who were in arts and many of my teachers. From early age, I like to sculpt. I prefer actually to sculpt. I used to have a little knife that I kept in my pocket, and every time I had a second and I could find something interesting, I would carve a face or an animal or what have you. Then, in a little later, I just moved to drawing, through painting, and later in my teenage years, I started to get into cartoons, into comics, caricature. Then in my early 20s, I started political cartoons. At some point after I combined many elements of my work, I put some of my art knowledge, I combined them with clothing, with custom jewelry, things that I've learned from people I was surrounded with. And I ended up being successful. However, I realized that my future was not in Romania, which was a communist country at that time. So I've decided to immigrate to the United States, leaving everything behind. When I'm saying everything, I mostly mean my family, my girlfriend, and all my friends, and everything that I've built to that point. So here is San Francisco Bay Area. It's this November 20th, 1988. I arrived here with empty pockets, but full of hope. And somehow I had lots of confidence. A brand new world actually was laying in front of me. However, it took a while to, adjust to it, but I was young and immediately I started to observe my new environment. I continued to draw cartoons for a while, but soon I realized that things were changing, Again, these were some examples of things that I started to see in my new world. So I was attracted mostly. I was attracted actually by new techniques that I've seen speaking with other friends. My new friends I just made. Some of them were artists. I've always liked people, and I've started to study them even more. I moved from the character from my cartoon to using, using the essence of a person that I was talking to, for example. So this was a real person. This was Arthur, actually. This was Byron, another friend of mine. So I moved actually not into caricature, but something that I thought it was new at that time. Observing some of their characteristics, I was surrounded of people I was surrounded by. I managed to complete a brand new series of about 30 portraits like this, and it was well received. Somehow I ended up with only two from that series, two pieces of that from that series, which I have in my collection even today. Many few years after that, actually, my wife came from Romania as well. And we decided to move all the way to Massachusetts from sunny California to the unexpected weather in Massachusetts, where she would have started her career as a physician. I continued to my art studies at Worcester State. And something happened with my art. It started to change again. I was experimenting more with many mediums, actually, from collage to different types of printing, to painting, even delved into abstract for a while. As you can tell, one of my pieces actually was a commission, actually my first commission which kind of stirred my career in this new direction. Other paintings followed in the search for myself, and I all of a sudden started to paint my cartoons rather than draw them. Some were simple exercises, other were more complex and more complicated. I don't even know what they meant. I like the game. I like to play. I like to try. One day I would go to a piano concert where everything would be in perfect harmony and balance. Life would take a break so I could enjoy the moment for a while. And the next day I would be drawn by the fact that my mother was sick, so I had to put that on paper or on canvas, actually, rather. And things started to work out. I started to play with textures, with colors, add more elements in my work. And all of a sudden, I'm not doing cartoons anymore. No words can describe what my mother was going through, but her eyes were telling the story, so I had to put it on paper. We're lucky, though. We welcome our first child in our family, and what a joy, what a life change. And I'm painting like a child all of a sudden. So changed again. The simply life was over. We suddenly realized that nothing would be like it was before. Things are serious now. We had to, take everything from a different angle. My wife and child just became Madonna and child. What a responsibility to have. We became the guardians. However, politics, sometimes you cannot stay out of. You have to take sides, but it comes at a cost. You believe. When I painted this, which is a very large mural made out of 17 canvases put together, I was inspired by what was happening in Iraq at that time. And you realize that whatever you do in life touches somebody else. So this is a chain of people that, it's called 38 hands, that basically one person does something and it moves to the next person and so forth. So we have to be delicate, or as delicate as possible, make sure we don't hurt our surroundings. New beginnings after that, are always refreshing but uncertain. A new idea, hope will only, if you have a chance to make a change. Your thinking, is basically, you're always want to be part of the present, love and affection to a child, in our case, basically this story, it's about my journey. So I was actually influenced all the time by what was happening, by what I was observing in our immediate family. So when my style changed again without warning, almost like a thief at night. Life was guiding me through my journey. I was looking to simplify my figure even more. And I was looking for the essence. That's the time where I kind of said, okay, I'm going to take the cover out and I'm just interested in the core, being easy is not simple. For another while, I started to loosen up in my paintings and I went back to abstract. I thought will help me see again the simple gestures, this is resting. It's more abstract, but started as an underpainting and became a finished product in my mind. So I let it be, and this is how it looks even today. Then I changed to a more fluent style. The figures became more organic. Characters are flowing in the scene. They are resting their soul, something I've been searching for a while. I've learned from my own experience. Finally, You need a break once in a while. So, what's the best place to be in Massachusetts? The Cape. We deserve a rest, lots of color, good vibe. Uh, Finally, sleep after not doing it for many years when my child was so little. Then vacation is over. Uh, Ready to restart with renewed energy. Changes are coming with the power of a thunderbolt. You get excited when that happens. You hope it's for the better. I'm on the sideline as usual, trying to observe and taking notes. At some point, they'll get on the canvas with lots of colors. Um, that's my working table. Has been building up for years uh, as we go through this journey. Um, Winter holidays are coming. You know, they're always a joy. You remember how great it is and how they bring joy in everybody's life, but how different meanings they have from one person to the next, from their original origins to traditions, even to their commercial values. You know, everybody's happy. Um, Life is becoming even more complex with the arrival of our second child. It's hard, but beautiful. You have to be everywhere at the same time. Can't take a break. Can't make a mistake while maintaining a balance. There's so many changes. Can't blink. The only regret is when you have to work or go do some errands. You're afraid you're missing something. But a joyful life is periodically interrupted by sad news. Unfortunately, some of our loved ones are leaving you and the world and become souls. It's sad, but I know they're still around. When my mother's Alzheimer started to affect her memory, I remembered how my children were around her trying to comfort her. Music helped a lot. It always had. Our trips to Tanglewood were unbelievable, you know, perfect therapy for mind and soul. It brought us together, actually, and even more, and you would forget, at least momentarily, about the problems. However, after enjoyable days, of course, you have your tense moments. Who says life is easy? Um, who invented it takes a village to raise a child? Actually, you realize that's not just a saying. You know, we were at the time that we needed all the help we can get, and it worked. It you know, we moved on and we managed to you know, raise our kids. We ended up. I mean, I ended up doing lots of series, you know, around those times, you know, and you realize how it's, you know, how important basically the 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 role of the mother and the women in general. My mother, other help we had around the house, you know. They become, you know, each individual woman that was around my children, it became more important than Mona Lisa, actually, to our family. Um, even when my my mother's Alzheimer was taking us through tough times, three faces of Eve. In this case, it was a painting that basically just portraits her for how she was at that moment. You know, she was unbelievable. She was, you know, trying to grab something to stay in the reality, but the disease is, it's so powerful. So we were there holding her in you know, with us, you know, basically. Sometimes life can get even tenser. This is a very large canvas that was the reflection of our nightly, feeding process. How me and my wife would take turns and feed the kids, and basically the yellow was the light we got from a lamp, trying not to bother anybody else in the house. It, it's we had to deal with everything. Small children, ailing parents. You realize that you are the sandwich generation, basically. We also had family back home, back in Romania, and the distance was unforgiving. Many issues we had to resolve over the phone, and we always had this advisory panels where everybody would get together and try to talk. What am I going to do with grandpa? What am I going to do with this and that and the other thing? And so that was part of it. And of course, on the domestic front, you had to go to work. I was observing my wife, dealing with daily issues. Demanding bosses, different types of work. You felt like you're twisted like a pretzel. As some of our friends once said. But you try to keep this together. You try to be a whole. And again, once in a while, have to go back and deal with other issues that will make your day feel like 36-hour days. Some others were much better, more of a balance, more of a, much more colorful, much more organized. And then, of course, it was the daily rat race where you're asking yourself, many times, where are we going? It's always good that after all of this chases, daily chases, you realize that you find actually the equilibrium that you have in your family, and it's not always the outside world that has to dictate your life, but you want to keep that together. So always, it's one of those pieces that it's a little calmer. So that was something that I would find in my family. And of course, in the family, you also find your muse. I think I might say that we were muses for each other, basically. Even in my children, my wife was my muse. She's part of many, many, many paintings that I've done, my children's as well. So that was the safe place for me. And all of a sudden, you get to one of those points in your life that you don't know what just happened, out of nowhere. An event shocks your equilibrium and your beliefs. This is called sorrow, Bloody Monday. And it was my response to Boston bombing attacks, at Boston Marathon in 2013. I was there. I couldn't believe how bad some people could be. I was there. I was there with my children. That was the shocking part. I was not at the finish line when it happened, but we were, in different parts. So you could understand that this could happen to you, and you're asking yourself why. Life shouldn't be this way. You're wondering, about anything that can change in a blink of an eye, how fragile life is. Then we were packed. We were packed like pea pods, basically, in that area, and somehow we managed to move on, and life continued. But it was something that we will be always, touched by. Then you get to other places that, unfortunately, you have to make unpleasant decisions, and that will mark you forever. And for example, at some point, my mother's health was so unpredictable that we had to move on and take her to a nursing home. And we had to take her to a nursing home in Romania because she wouldn't recognize, she wouldn't speak English anymore. And that was something that I will be marked forever. This is called it's better here, because that was the truth at that time. And then we're alone. It's just me and my wife. Children start, as I said, you're growing. You're taking a break, almost a breather from everything. Not that you want to, but you are literally just you and your immediate family. Looks like you are an intermission, basically. You know that you're going back to seeing your family, your other ones that you just lost, or they had to go somewhere, other places, but you would keep your family. The family ties will never be able to be broken. And obviously, you have to continue to dream. And for some reason, I was dreaming in colors all the time. Many times we went back to music as not necessarily as a therapy, but it was that place that you needed to reset you. And this was an example of things that I was interested in. Yes, of course, you pay attention to the music and you pay attention to the concert and everything, but not many times you pay attention to the musicians when they're taking a break and they're still on the stage and the lights are on them, but they're not, it's not as much light, and you realize how, they're relaxed, but they look like they have an aura about themselves. It's an amazing feeling that I'm always getting when I go to a concert. And of course, because we just went back to us, you realize how strong your relationship is and how much you learned through this journey of where you started when we were very young, and then you went through all these things, through all these experiences, and you feel like you're giants. You're huge. Nothing can beat you, basically. You're always together, basically. You're much stronger, and you realize after after this, while I just did, actually, I don't know if anybody thinks the same way, but I realized that many people that were around us, or could have been just including us, me, my wife, my our grandparents, my children's grandparents, friends, everybody that was taking about care about my children, they became mothers, so I just realized we're all mothers, basically. And sometimes it's hard to keep secrets for from kids, and my kids would never keep secrets from, they would always tell the secrets. So at that time, actually, we were dealing with some taking a vacation, and everybody was so happy, so this is called secret told, because everybody started to talk about it, even though we said, no talking. So the vacation actually was the next thing. It was a trip to Romania to see our family, and you realize that after a little while, it's your children want to go back because life is different there than here. Even though it was very pleasant and you have your family around, and all I would hear is, now I'm ready to go home. So this is how this came up. Two major projects were waiting for me back home. And here they are, some of my biggest paintings, I may say. This is basically a mural in downtown Framingham. It's the intersection of 135 and 126 is the gateway to downtown. It's visible to about 80 to 90,000 people on daily basis, commuters, and it was a project that lasted a long time. It was an effort that we in Framingham were trying to make to change the view of the downtown area and to make it more invited, and actually became a project that was backed by lots of people from everywhere through donations. It took a long time because it was a matter of how you get approvals and how you get funds to buy paint, to buy materials and equipment and things like this. And actually, it was very interesting. It was a very interesting process. It was a very interesting concept. It put some color on downtown and basically changed the area for the better. And now Framingham downtown area has become a vibrant area, and there are lots of new people, lots of new businesses. So everything changed for the better, and I cannot stress this more. This was a collective effort. There were lots of people that contributed to this, so we're all happy about it. As a matter of fact, that is the intersection where the Boston Marathon runners are passing by. And every year when they have before the marathon, there is a mini marathon where anybody can participate. It's called a Mural Mile, where the prizes and everything are actually done in front of the mural. It was hard. It took a toll. Actually, it was hot outside. It was what can I say? I think we made a big change in that area, and that makes me happy. So that was a project that we started the previous summer, and we had to slow down and do it in pieces. And actually, it was finished by midsummer. And I was working on two projects in the same time. This is another one that's called is it called the Street Piano Project? Actually, it was happening in the same time. So some days, because it was so hot outside, I couldn't paint the mural, and I went to Boston to the design district, and this is what happened. For some reason, I drew out of 60 pianos. I was selected to paint one piano, and I drew number 1 for some reason, which was all the way in the back of the room. And little by little, I'm trying to find a way to hide the piano. So I just basically, it was a different canvas. It was not like a wall or a canvas or a piece of paper. It was something that I had to just basically think of how am I going to be able to do it, because it has so many curves and it has so many, and it has to be functional at the end. So little by little, I'm just working on it, and I'm making it a canvas, and add a little color, and ta-da! That's basically almost the final idea, and it ended up being played by many in the Faneuil Hall. So you can, if you want, you can go even now and play this piano. It still works. So again, this was something that was done in the same time with the mural. So it was a fun summer, that summer. Well, after everything ended, after that summer ended, and it was a happy summer. It was perfect. You understand how you just find, all of a sudden you get a curveball. I got multiples, but this was the toughest one. My wife got sick, and what can I say? We tried to continue to go. We had this perfect thing that was working for us. Children were growing. The art was doing very well. She was a brilliant doctor, and then you realize that it's not that easy. Things can change. You realize that you have to. What do you do? What do you do to make her hold on? What do you do to continue, act normal, go to work? You know, we're trying to be as gentle as possible. You know, try to tiptoe around everything, but in the same time, we realize that it's okay if you try to live your life without thinking about it. And after many conversations, you know, many you know, nights where we didn't sleep and we thought everything is lost, you find the joy and go do some fun work with friends, or even bring your children and get them involved in things like this. Lots of my work during that time, actually, it was very colorful. It was basically something that we've done for her. We were dancing, you know. This was the last waltz, I may say. It brought all of us joy, you know. We even enjoyed many more summers on the Cape, you know, where we've been spending lots of time. And you know, it's hard not to think of bad things, but in the same time, you want to make one's life easier, you know. Um, all of a sudden, again, you know, we're getting invitations to spruce up some areas and put some color on the walls. And this is an example of a mural that's in at that amazing Think Art Center in Framingham. Was started by middle school students from Fuller Middle School and finished by me and a fellow artist, Mia Cross, who did her wonderful eyes on the piece, and it's enjoyed by many. Then a new thing came. I've been invited and actually have been part of this project for about 3 years now. Forgot to mention that we lost our place of work in Framingham. We used to be in a place called Fountain Street, where about 80 artists used to be at some point, on 60 at least, constantly. We had open studios. We have lots of people come to see wonderful art, but unfortunately, like everything else, some properties become very interesting for investors. So we were forced to move out. I thought I would never get a studio again except the one in Boston, but I couldn't resist the invitation that I got from the owner of a mill in North Framingham, in Saxonville, the Saxonville Mills, that basically asked me to change one area from a warehouse predominated place into something else. So this is a work in progress. Basically, I just started to you know, it's full of murals inside and outside. They're popping everywhere, and this is a project that probably will take many years. I don't even know if it will ever end, because it's ever growing. We started from 1, 2, 5, 12, 15 artists to about 30 at this point. And you understand that this is bigger than yourself. This is bigger than you as an artist. This is actually, it's an art project. This is the art project. You know, it's just, I just happen to be part of it, you know, basically. We have lots of exhibits. You can see the scale of some of my work. Lots of people are enjoying art, and we're enjoying the place we're in, actually. You get back to personal life and try to enjoy the simple pleasures again, even though in the back of your mind it's always something that makes you sad and make you even shed a tear once in a while. We're humans. And almost every day I have the feeling and the need to you know, put my interpretation of her on canvas or whatever I'm doing, or, you know, drawing a sketch or anything. I doodle a lot, so it's happening. So sometimes you even use discarded materials to as canvas, and they look interesting, and you leave some of the things there that were just a mistake to begin with. Actually, this was painted on a tarp from painting a mural, actually, but some of the drips and thing I left on purpose just because they made sense. Um, you also realize that it's you always be by her side, and it's hard. It's what can I say? We try to make everything flowing, but it's hard. So you do this instead. You just take your energy and put it on other people as well, because we changed other artists' lives by doing this. And I'm not the only one who's doing murals in there. There are many others that do, and this is becoming little by little into an art center. From, as I said, those areas were parts of were warehouses. They used to sell blankets out of this at some point. You get a sense that we are. I mean, as people, we are in a permanent transit. It's a busy life. It's a crazy life. You have good, you have bad, you have things that are moving all the time. You cannot just stay. You can always only just take a little break and observe it. What else can I say? Uh, looks like everything you do, has strings attached. This is a piece called "Love It Is," and it's just that. Every aspect of my life, it's been around what I've done with my family, with other people, with friends, so that's why it's a lot of love, it's a lot of color. It's been a wonderful journey so far. Then you always want to continue to dream big, live your life, travel, act as if nothing is wrong, but know that you have to be there, and even enjoy summer in the winter. We were fortunate enough to have a small house on the Cape, and that was part of at least our children's life. We have it since they were born, so it was a place of where we could actually enjoy summer in the winter, and not worry about the dice of life. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what if you roll it, what's going to happen. So you have to take things as they are. And unfortunately, to us, we went to a different perspective, but we're trying to keep that, everything going. We try to live and have the reassurance that life is unwinding in front of your eyes, but you are there. You are there, and you're part of it. And try to live strong. Try to take care of your children, even if you are a little overprotective sometimes. Not even be scared of the new American Gothic. Nothing scares us anymore. I mean, everything made us much more powerful and much more stronger. Unfortunately, comes a time where you have to be calm and peaceful when the departed is leaving. The best you can do is just go and visit her, and look through the imagination gate and see her resting. It's been a hard life. It's fine. It's quiet now. all you can say it's, I wish you were here. But this is life. We are in a place that we have to continue. And unfortunately, 2020 was not the best year to us. This is what I'm working on right now. I don't know. I don't know how we'll look when done. I never know. But the process, when the process, it's the thing that keeps me going. When I work, I start with an idea, but then I'm in a different dimension when I can do anything I want. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. Thank you.
As you say, what can I say? I can say only one thing. I started in the beginning of my intro that I'm lucky to know you. Now I think that we added few more people to be lucky to know you, our audience. Sorin, I just don't know how to thank you. From the depths of my heart, thank you very much.